Welcome back to NES Revisited. In this video, we're going to be checking out 5 games. The first one's going to be a single release by Nintendo, August 1986, Urban Champion. Then we're going to check out 4 more third-party releases from Data East and Bandai. So let's see if they've earned that Nintendo's official seal of quality. August 1986, Nintendo introduces Urban Champion to the home console. You get a quick little tune and a demo to start. As the blue-haired guy, your goal is to punch the green-haired guy to the next screen. Pressing back will help you avoid punches, and up or down will change your stance. The A button is fast punch, but it doesn't do much damage, while B is a slow punch but knocks your opponent down. There isn't much else to this game other than if you make it past 2 rounds, the next round will have a manhole for you to knock the guy into. After that, you get some confetti, some sweet tunes, and another guy to attack. You'll get a symbol at the bottom of the screen, and there's 45 total. Get all 45 and you'll be considered the champion. The game's difficulty increases as you go, and if you get knocked back too many screens, you'll know. You'll see the manhole waiting for you. Fall in that and the game is over. If the time runs out, whoever is losing will get arrested. Alright, well, so was this game worth a day one purchase? Not at all. Terrible controls, boring level design, and repetitive enemies makes this game one of the worst games up to this point. With Bandai and Data East entering the market a few months later, Nintendo's not going to be able to make these simple games anymore and be successful. I know they're arcade ports, but that's part of the issue. Arcade games are designed to eat coins. This game just eats up your time. Let's see what Bandai has to offer with Chubby Cherub. Part shoot 'em up, part platformer. This game lets you control Chubby Cherub and your goal is to reach the end of the stage. If you choose to play this game without reading the manual, you're not going to get far. It's confusing at first. You jump around stage collecting things, there's a power gauge, and cute little puppies are actually enemies. The trick is to hold B and take flight. As long as your power gauge is not too low, you can fly through the stage. Collect lollipops for a shooting power-up called the Gal Cannon. Eat all the food you see to keep your power up so you can keep moving on. If you see a stop icon, you must collect a special icon or defeat someone on the screen to move on. Once you get to the end of the stage, you'll see a bunch of food and windows. Just start eating up the food by the windows and eventually you'll find the friend that you're looking for. But watch out, sometimes the dog will pop out and get you. For the most part, every stage is just like this. The Japanese version had a different character. They used a penguin-like ghost named Obaki no Kotaro, which is part of a popular manga series in Japan. Unlike today, where manga and Japanese culture is available and very popular in the US, this was not the case in 1986. So they created a Cupid character that shoots hearts at dogs. Fun. Each stage looks about the same and doesn't offer a ton of variety. You get the same background music the entire game as well. If you happen to fall below the stage, you'll find yourself in what seems like a bonus level, but it's really not. I call it the Black Room. The first time I fell, it took me about 15 minutes to get out. You can't see the platforms and you have to collect the lollipop so you can shoot the dog. For whatever reason, you don't lose lives here and your time doesn't change. You're stuck until you get out or turn the game off. I eventually figured out the platforms with trial and error only to get right back to where I fell. You'll get to a point where you'll have to fight the burglar. You're supposed to grab the bone and somehow attack him with the dog. I died a few times and gave up. Usually I try to get farther into these games, but not if they're this bad. Bandai failed miserably with this game. I get it that it's 1986, but difficulty goes from boringly easy to how did I just die? I only made it to stage 3 and it was a grind. If I thought the game offered more in the higher levels, I'd keep going, but it really doesn't offer much else, and it's just not fun. This game could have done better in a lot of ways, so let's just say this game was bad then, and it's just as bad today. Time for another Bandai title, M.U.S.C.L.E. Changing things up a bit, we get Bandai's first attempt at a wrestling game. At the start of the game, you get to choose 2 wrestlers for some tag team action. There are 3 stages, the first being a normal ring. The second stage is a slippery stage for whatever reason, which makes controlling your character challenging. The third stage is a seizure-inducing electrified ring, which causes wrestlers to stick to the ropes while losing damage. The controls are pretty simple. B jumps, A does a move. From the front it's just a punch, but from the back you get the backdrop move. Unlike real wrestling, you don't pin your opponent. You play this more like a fighting game where the first to win 2 rounds is declared the winner. Each wrestler has dots to show their health level. At some point you'll see the trainer pop his head up. He'll eventually throw a power up across the mat. Pick it up and you'll be able to execute that wrestler's unique power move. If the opponent picks it up, he'll use his powers against you. You need to make sure that doesn't happen. And you also need to know what special move you have to take advantage. It's the best way to end the round quickly. I found that Geronimo's special move is really OP, overpowered that is. He gets to chuck axes at people and you can just spam it till the power up wears off. Pretty ridiculous. So let's talk about the quality of this game. First time I played this about a week before this video, I honestly thought the graphics were glitched. The characters look strange and the background looked awful. Come to find out, that's not a glitch, it's just really poor sprite designs. The characters look terrible, but have that cute chubby thing going, so it sort of adds to the silly and lightheartedness of the game. But sprites aside, the game is kind of fun. It's not trying to be a serious wrestling game by any means, so you can't fault the developers for that. The controls are responsive, but the gameplay is tough to get a handle of. It's more of a fighting game than anything. Just smash buttons and hope you hit and don't get hit. Get the power up and finish quickly. So was this game worth 1986 money? I'd have to say no. This game feels rushed. I understand it's Bandai's first batch of games we're looking at, but even when Nintendo released poor games, they still had a certain quality to them. Bandai had a chance to make this one fun. They just dropped the ball. Looking at the third title from Bandai, Ninja Kid. Nice title music. Watching the demo shows you 4 different areas: Dogfight, Poison Field, Guerrilla Warfare, and Blazing Inferno. Just like Bandai's Chubby Cherub, Ninja Kid replaced a Japanese manga character named Gegege no Kataro. Yeah, that's a mouthful. For the most part, it's just a palette swap and some of the enemies are changed to more Americanized versions. When you start the game, you'll be able to walk on the Demon Island map. Each map will randomly generate the towers, what the game calls fighting fields, on the screen. Your objective is to destroy the demon castle, but before you can enter it, you need to find a special scroll hidden in one of the fields on the way. On the dogfight field, Ninja Kid flies on a kite and has to defeat 10 demons. Poison fields have you collect 10 demon spirits represented by the white ghosts. In Blazing Inferno, a little flame follows you around and you must stand near the candles and light 10 of them. Guerrilla Warfare is like Dogfight, where you just need to defeat 10 demons. Each map you can collect special power-ups. Special weapons include the Iron Star, Boomerang, which after thrown makes Ninja Kid invincible for 15 seconds, Fire Flame, which scrolls across the screen making it easier to hit demons, and the Feather, which like the Boomerang gives you 15 seconds of invincibility. If you die, your progress isn't lost, so despite the one-hit cheap deaths, you can jump right back into the field and finish what you started. Every once in a while, you'll be sent to hell. In this vertical scrolling level, you don't have any power-ups. Make your way to the top and defeat the demon to escape. Give the scroll to the witch that's usually near the demon castle and you can fight the demon. The whistle allows you to call in friends to help defeat the challenge of Shangri-La. You do this by going to the left side of the screen and squatting down. Once you clear the map, you go to a new map and repeat the process until you run out of lives. There's 8 different Shangri-La forms with 4 different bosses in hell. That's some pretty good variety. Bandai had one more chance to impress, and Ninja Kid is a pretty good game. You get way more value in this title compared to Bandai's other titles. One thing that isn't pretty good is the music. The intro music sounds really good. The demon map is like 8 notes that repeat themselves. The music is the same for all the fields, which is also really short and a repeating tune. They did a decent job on the graphics, and there's left and right wraparound scrolling, which also is a nice touch. This is definitely one of those games where you need to find out how to play before you start. When I was growing up in the 80s, I would borrow or rent games with no manuals, often get frustrated and quit early because I didn't know what to do. This game fits in that category. There's one-hit kills in this game, so even if you know what you're looking for, you're gonna have to build up skills quickly to get far in this game. Give yourself time to get good at this game and understand how to use the power-ups to your advantage. This is definitely a Bandai game worth trying out. Now entering the ring, Data East with Tag Team Wrestling. With the second wrestling game released in the same month, we now have a direct competitor. At first glance, the graphics look way better than M.U.S.C.L.E. You don't get to choose fighters in this one. You play as the Ricky brothers, Rick and Ultra Machine, and your opponents are strong bads, Warley and Mascross, or whatever, I don't know how to pronounce that. Similar to M.U.S.C.L.E, you have an energy bar you have to keep an eye on. In order to win the match, you have to pin one of the strong bats for 3 seconds on the map, or keep them out of the ring for 20 seconds while you're still in the ring. These rules are more in line to what you'd expect in a real wrestling match. You get a ton of different attacks in the ring, like body slams and backdrops. You can do a hilarious looking headbutt or drop kick off the ropes. You can also fight outside of the ring as well. Sometimes you could pick up weapons to use and try to keep the strong bats out while you get back in time for a ring out. Selecting moves is done by hitting A to punch and grab your opponent. Then you have to quickly cycle through the moves by pressing B a certain amount of times. Hitting A is going to execute that move. Do what you need to do to win the match and you'll advance to the next title match. The size of the trophy increases as the championship matches advance in rank. Lose and you'll go down 1 rank. There's 35 total ranks to complete, but you always fight the same wrestlers. I love what Data East attempted here. It feels like a true wrestling game and captures a lot of what we're familiar with. There's in-game music that's pretty decent too. And the ref even counts to 3. Sherry sounds terrible, but it works. The sprite work for the stage and the crowd are miles better than M.U.S.C.L.E. Although the characters themselves look better, the wrestling moves and walking animation are hilariously bad. There's no enemy variety and you can't choose to be the strong bads. But that's unfortunate. If you try and play this game without learning the controls, you're gonna have a miserable experience. I'm not saying this game is amazing by any means, but once you get the hang of the controls, it starts to become fun. 1986 was a popular year for wrestling fans, so I don't see any reason not to pick this up. Whether or not this game is actually worth playing today could be debated. It took me a while to understand the controls, and until I did, I really didn't like this game at all. But that's because I was getting smashed around the ring constantly. I'll let you be the judge on this one. Alright, so we just got a first taste of third-party development. I think Bandai's got a lot of work to do. Which one of these games would look the most interesting to you? I think Ninja Kid is probably worth playing out of all of them. Anyway, in the next episode, we're going to be finishing up 1986. We got 5 more games to go, with inclusion of Capcom and Konami, also a Data East game to check out. So I hope to see you in the next episode. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it, and thanks for watching.